Truckers! Oh dear me. Oh, you're in a bit of a bad way, ain't you? So many of you are losing jobs. 16,000 odd jobs lost in the trucking industry. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh well, never mind. That's what happens when a fool votes for a fool. Well, basically, you're well represented, aren't you? I'm sorry, but, that's how it is. But one trucker, friendly trucker, that we both might know, is Josh, from the Enemy From Within. And I just watched his video. It was actually a couple of days ago that I watched it, actually. But I thought I'd give you my take on it, because it reminds me of Brexit as well. There are so many similarities. A lot of it stems down to the fact that many truckers, lorry drivers, haulage companies, well, they vote right-wing, okay? They vote for tyrants, that they do. Fascists, In the UK's point of view, it'd have been Boris Johnson they voted for. But also they voted for the Brexit. Oh dear. And that was David Cameron. What a fool. I hope he's having fun with his tools in his shed. Or is he still playing with the pigs? I don't know, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, get your wellies on. oh, crikey. Oh, smelly. Anyway, never mind the pigs. Let's talk about haulage, the trucking industry, and how it relates, the US trucking industry that is, and how it relates to what has been going on in the United Kingdom. Because a lot of it does correlate, it really does. So, the logistics industry in the United States is down by about 13%. I thought it was going to be cold. It's not cold. It's overcast, but it's not cold. I've got this bloody hat on. My brain's going to overheat. If you see any steam, will you just tell me in the comments, just so I know? Oh, damn, it's not live, is it? Anyway. Well, the truckers generally, they do vote right-wing. And part of the reason of that is immigration. Even though they're kind of immigrants every time they go across a border to pick something up, it's kind of hypocrisy of it all, really. They want a rule for themselves, but not for everybody else. But that's generally what happens when you have, racists. I'm sorry, many of those in the industry, just like taxi drivers in London, they're the same. I'm talking about black cabs, all right? Many of them, they're just bloody racist, okay? I'm not going to pussyfoot around, because the proof is in the pudding. It really is. The United Kingdom has a serious problem with racism. The United States has a serious problem with racism. And now you voted for a racist government. Well, needless to say, you're going to get called a racist. Yeah. If you vote for that orange Ron shits and pants, and it is obvious that you're racist. How many times have I said that now? That's probably me demonetised, isn't it? Anyway, look at these lovely rolling hills where I live. Yeah. Oh, and I lucky. Anyway, there's cows over there. Yeah. Anyway, so some of the points that Josh was pointing out was the fact that Donald Trump decided to help the trucking industry by creating more barriers to trade. It makes sense, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. None whatsoever. He is a fucking idiot. That orange Ron shits and pants. Oh, crikey, the mango Mussolini. Talk about mangoes, they're rotting in Israel, by the way. And mango Mussolini. Alright, and that's because of boycotts. Yeah, just like Canada. Yeah, elbows up. Anyway, talk about Canada. Josh is also a friend to Canada. Yeah, he's made videos about Canada as well. Pro-Canada videos. So, check him out. Check his channel out. If you haven't done already, check him out. He's the Enemy From Within. He's your friendly truck, and he puts a video up every day. Now, I made a few notes and tried to correlate this with, the Brexit and the similarities between the two. Now, Brexit also created barriers to trade. There's Donald Trump with his tariffs creating barriers to trade, increasing the costs of absolutely everything, which, reduces trade. You have individuals in the United States don't want to pay more money for products. And when they're putting on like 50% tariffs, 100% tariffs, needless to say, it's too expensive. Everything's too expensive. And they're all imported lorries, tractor units coming into the United States, trucks, and they're going to have a whopping great tariff added. What is this with this fucking idiot? He just wants to hit everyone with a stick all the while. No carrots, just sticks. Yeah, again, that's just like the Brexit, you see. The thing about Brexit, you see, it put up this huge volume of red tape. Whether you were fishermen, shellfish fishermen, or whether you pork farmers, beef farmers, grain, it didn't matter. It brought up a lot of problems regarding phytosanitary and other issues. They were all barriers to trade for the farmers, but also for the lorry drivers, because the lorry drivers stopped coming. And there was another reason as well because of the Brexit. There's a thing called cabotage. And I don't know if you have cabotage in the United States. Maybe you do between, I suppose you would do between Canada and, the northern border and the southern borders. I suppose you would do. You'd have lorries coming across the borders, wouldn't you? Of course you would. So we call it cabotage. I don't know what you call it in the United States. It might be the same. But anyway, it's called cabotage. Now, what cabotage means is that when a lorry driver comes over your goods and drops your goods off, they're allowed to go and pick up another load in that said country and drop it off. And then maybe they'll pick up another load and take it home with them, to their own home country, And that's cabotage. Now, that literally just got thrown straight out the window, it did. And eventually they managed to agree cabotage +1, which means you could only do one extra drop-off, which was not much use, and it crippled the multiple industries. Excuse me. Come on, boys. Car. We don't often get cars. Our dogs are really good these days, actually, around cars. They don't do anything. It's more about the cars, actually. But anyway, so, there they are. They're sniffing something. Has there been did someone pee there before? Probably. That was me. Anyway. So, yeah, cabotage. So, that was a massive problem. Because the lorry drivers, all of a sudden, they couldn't actually make it worth their while to come over to the United Kingdom. It became too expensive. And then there was the phytosanitary certificates and delays of importation because of immigration rules and stuff like that. That caused a huge amount of problems. And all of a sudden, right, there was all these car parks popping up all over the place. And do you know what we called them? We called them Farage garages. And the roads were lined with brown paper bags with shit in and wide-necked plastic bottles with pee in, urine in, yeah, full of yellow urine. Anyway, chucked out the fucking windows because the lorry drivers don't necessarily have facilities. There ain't no facilities along the M20 or the A20, and needless to say, they were desperate. So they always made sure they had brown paper bags to poop in and bottles. Yep, then get their thingy in. Anyway, we called them the Farage garages eventually because all these garages kept popping up everywhere, which are basically big car parks. And we called them that because of Nigel Farage, you see. Yeah, Nigel Farage brought us Brexit and he brought us the Farage garages. That man destroys everything. And now he's in the United States destroying your country. That is what the plan is, You've got GB News, I suppose we call US News or something, is going to be in the United States now. And he's going to be hosting a show as well in the United States. He's supposed to be working. He's an MP in the United Kingdom and he's swanning around the United States all the fucking while. And when he is in the UK, he keeps going on about, he's now got a new policy that is going to be part of their manifesto, the Reform Party. All the people that got negotiated regarding the Brexit deal, in post-Brexit, the right to remain, he wants them to all reapply for visas under visa rules. that won't bode well. That certainly won't bode well with the Europeans. It also throws people like me under the bus as well, you know, because I'm in France. I live in France. The man's a fucking racist, and even Keir Starmer said it's a racist policy. And I happen to agree, it is a racist policy. And now everyone's saying, "Oh, are you calling all the people who vote for the Reform Party or support the Reform Party as racist?" Obviously, they're not going to say that, but they are. I'll say it. If you vote for the Reform Party with racist policies, you are a racist. And the same applies to Donald Trump. Yes. If you vote for Donald Trump, you are a racist. You knew full well he was a racist. There was no doubt that he was a racist. The only foreign people he likes is if they got white skin. You know, he tends to marry them, you know, and then bury them on his golf course and stuff. Oh, crikey. And let the grass grow up around him, so you forget about him. Now, all this stuff is making the industry, like for the United Kingdom, with all these, all this red tape, still there, ain't gone away. You know, they can just manage it a little bit now. Whereas before it was just like, my God, this is shock. You know, give you a little idea. Whereas a lorry of, say for instance, one lorry load of lobsters going over the channel to France, okay, there were no fees, apart from the trucking fees and stuff like that. Now, it costs them around £600 pounds every time they go over, just in fees. Obviously, it's created a whole new industry, but who pays it in the end? Well, it's obviously the customer. And then it prices the goods out of existence, really, because, you know, they're not going to be they don't want to pay more for the goods, so it devalues them. So what ends up happening, a bit like Donald Trump with his tariffs, he goes, "Eat the tariffs," he says, "Eat the tariffs, eat the babies, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs." Oh, crikey, what else are they eating? But anyway, they seem to eat everything with Donald Trump, and looking at him, I think he probably does. Now, the thing is, you see, you can't keep eating this stuff. Eventually, you can explode, and that's generally what's happening in the United States. You're heading for a recession. The United Bank of, I think, Switzerland has just said there's a 93% chance of the United States heading for a recession. It could even be sooner than that, especially if Donald Trump does what he says he's going to do regarding basically devaluing the debt. Using crypto. Fucking, that's so dangerous. Unbelievably dangerous. Do you want a treat, guys? Do you want a treat? Yeah. There you go. Have a treat. Treat, Dora. Here you are. Look. You going to come or not? No, she's too busy eating poo. Yeah, just keep going to that field over there and keep having a little bit of a munch on the cow pat. What is wrong with animals? So if she ain't rolling around in fox poo, she's eating poo. Oh, you have a treat now, eh? There you go. Although she is lovely, though. Just disgusting. So, there's all these additional costs, and whether they be the tariffs, it's going to be put onto lorries and aluminium and steel and all these tariffs. Oh, and tech as well. Don't forget, your trucks are full of fucking tech and all, you know. You got your magic black box, ain't you, and shit, and your tacos and all that sort of stuff. You know, they're all made abroad. It's all imported shit, it is. You know, half the components in your truck, you're just assembly plants. If you build anything in the United States, you're really just an assembly plant. You might press it through steel panels, but not, 9 times out of 10 they'll be pressed in Mexico or somewhere, or India or somewhere like, other than the United States. And you just basically stick it all together with glue, and double-sided sticky tape. Okay, the occasional pop rivet, all right. So, what Donald Trump has done is just made everything more expensive. Everything more expensive. And you've got the cost of food going up. Everything's going to be more expensive anyway. The lorry drivers now, the truckers have now got to pay darn sight more money to get what they need. And it's the same in the UK. Nothing's cheap anymore. The only difference is the lorry drivers in the UK, because there's a massive shortage of lorry drivers because of Brexit. We found actually that the their wages did actually go up. It's just everybody else was fecked, you know. But their wages did actually go up for a short period of time. But they voted for it. They voted for it. But the cost of everything goes up, including the lorries themselves. Most of the lorries are built abroad, you know, Scania and stuff like that, you know. Obviously European lorries I'm talking about, not your, you know, your dick measuring tools in the United States. Your lorries with the giant bonnets so you can't see how close you're getting to anything. You know, those sort of lorries. Just, what's the point of all that, eh? Our lorries there tend to be all like blunt-nosed things. But at least you can see, you know. You've got less blind spots as well. But anyway. So the cost is, you know, everything is actually, you know, it's just more tariffs, making everything more expensive. You've got reduced competition because there's an abundance of lorries on the road. The cost of the lorries is actually coming down. At the moment, the costs are coming down where there's a lot of companies, haulage firms, trucking companies that are deciding to thin their trucks down. But the problem is when they stop buying, there'll be a period of time of the prices come down for the lorries, and then they'll shoot up because lorry drivers and what have you, and Josh pointed this out, they'll hang on to their trucks for longer, and the companies will hang on to their trucks for longer because they'll have to, because they'll be just too expensive and very hard to price in. Because we can remember a lot of these trucking firms, what they do is they offset against their taxes. Now, if I was in the United Kingdom or here in France, I'd be offsetting against, in the UK, against the VAT. And I would be offsetting, offset the VAT and the cost of the vehicle and stuff. And also, I'd be, if here in France, it'd be the TVA. So, that's just how it is, unfortunately. Everything's going to become more expensive. And, your lorry, the cost of your trucks will come down for a period of time, and then they'll just shoot straight up because no one will be selling. There'll be a shortage of trucks. That's what'll happen. And you won't be able to get the parts for the same kind of money that you were paying before. It's just all going to become impossible to manage. Totally impossible. And that's my point of view. I just thought I'd just add a little bit to Josh's video in respect to the Brexit. Now, Brexit screwed over the British lorry drivers, even though they think that was good for them short term. But, the cabotage, which also affected bands, musicians and that who tour, because, effectively they're using tour buses and stuff. They got the same problem with cabotage, What are they going to do? Go across the channel and go to one location. So what they have to do now is they have to go over, but they have to hire a lorry or something when they get over there, and with, a driver, a French driver, say for instance. It's just madness, absolute madness. I'm not talking about the big bands. I'm talking, they have to do it, but I'm talking about the little bands. They're the ones that get hit hard, aren't they? Touring bands, all those who are support acts, they're not earning a lot of money. And then they have the merchandising and all that sort of stuff. This is all the stuff that gets affected. If you're a touring band or you're just taking stuff across the border, well, then you've got to pay the taxes, pre-taxes, on any merchandise, like T-shirts and records and stuff, Yeah, I'm old school. Anyway, it's time for me to go. I'll say toodaloo, Please leave it in the comments down below. Did I miss anything out? Probably. Please leave it in the comments down below, because I do actually read the comments. But you probably already know. And if you want to support the channel, just boot the old like button and stuff. But also there's the Super Thanks and Patreon and Buyers Coffee, all that sort of stuff, and memberships as well. If you do want to support the channel, because, without your support, the channel obviously would just disappear. Not because I'm doing it just for money, because it's not, because I have to earn money, and if I didn't do that, if I wasn't earning anything on this, I'd have to be earning more money elsewhere. I'll be doing more woodwork, which is probably less stressful, to be honest. Cows. Toodaloo. Oh, you can say bye-bye. Are you saying bye? What you got in your mouth? You haven't been eating poo or eating grass. You okay? Oh, anyway. You have a lovely day.